What's going on, man?
Man, been crazy busy, but in reference to this project that I got going on,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Get right up on the microphone.
Always.
Yeah.
right up on
If
it.
you
Yeah.
don't, I'll do this and then just get closer.
Okay.
You can pitch it up a little bit too.
Yeah. You
Right.
can.
Especially in this echoey room, we probably need to be really close.
Really like
The closer the better.
like-
That way, whenever people are driving,
oh yeah.
and if they hear me talking, and then if they hear you talking like this,
Yeah.
then it's gonna be like.
That was
oh,
the best example you did. I'm proud of that
Thank you.
example.
Thank you.
About driving.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So let's introduce you.
Let's do that.
All right.
Now we can kind of go into it.
All right. So what's your name?
So I'm the cousin, the favorite one.
Favorite cousin?
Yeah, favorite cousin. The bow hunting cousin, the redneck one, grew up in the hill country. My name's Danny Alba. Y'all remember the last name, Alba again. He likes saying that. He goes, "Yo, you're an Alba, ain't you?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, we talk shit." So. Yeah, he brought that up like 5 times already. I've only known him for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. I couldn't
So-
tell he had like a full beard. I'm like, that's not
Yeah,
Alba.
I got one.
He
I got
looks
one
like
of the
him,
best
but he
ones.
like looks a little
better looking?
darker.
Yeah.
Really good beard
Brown-
line.
Really good looking.
brown year round is what we call it.
Yeah. He actually gets outside. You get outside too, but man, you're a white boy.
He does actual outside work though.
That's
Yeah.
correct. That's correct.
I heard you're actually strong too.
Yeah, well, I do what I can.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Weird to see an Alba strong, like, you know what I mean? Like, weird.
No, we call that shots fired. That's shots fired.
Yeah.
That's funny.
In the bow community.
Yeah.
So, the reason why we're here is to talk about the Mule Stabilizer.
Right.
How long has this been in the works? How did it start? Give us the whole deets.
So this came up literally in the field, which is one of the best things and one of the best stories about it, because it's kind of an American-made product that came up in the field while hunting, and it's a simple idea. In 2017, I was hunting in Idaho in the backcountry, and I was carrying my bow, and at the time, I had this stabilizer. Okay, so this, I don't know if y'all can see that in the camera, but I had this stabilizer, and it has these little rubber, real hard rubber little deal sticking out. But what it's for, I don't know. More of aesthetics, I guess, what that's for. But when I was carrying my bow, when I carry it, I carry it like this. Well, that stabilizer right there was digging into my forearm, right?
You're carrying it like when you're walking around.
Walking, hiking and miles and miles and miles hiking in the backcountry. And when I was carrying that bow, after 2 or 3 days with sweat and carrying that thing, it was kind of rubbing into both sides of my forearms right there. So I had like a little indentation and some irritation and red and like a rash, kind of a deal going on
forearms.
on my forearms,
Okay.
both sides from carrying that bow all them miles. So what I did is I stopped, to grab me a snack, and I found this little stick laying next to me, and I kind of cut it with a little saw and a pocket knife I had, and I zip tied it on there, and I put it back on my bow, and that thing sat right in my forearm, and it kind of took away all that pressure. I was like, man, I like that. That feels good. So I left it on there, kept hunting with it, and it just made a huge difference just carrying my bow. And then when I went to shoot, I'm like, man, it's not in the way. It's not bothering me at all. Then when I went to stop and, do some glassing, look for some critters, and I set my bow down like it's sitting right there, and that stabilizer held the bow up.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
man, I like that idea. So I left it on there. This is the one I had. This is the stick. This is the zip tie. This is from 2017, right? So I left it on there. I liked it, so I'm gonna leave it on there.
That's like a thing. Like bow hunters don't put their bows down because they don't stand up like this, right?
Right. You don't want to. A lot of people, when you go kill something or you go just set it down, you're like trying to find like a delicate, soft little spot, that you want to set your bow down at, right? And a lot of people, well, especially me particularly, because I'm real particular about my equipment. Whenever you set your bow down, you don't want your strings to get nicked or your cam to get nicked or your sight to get thrown off or whatever it is. So, trying to have something to set your bow down with, it's an addition. Like nowadays, they've got a couple of these like little legs that go on, they clip on right here on your limbs, but your cam still touches the ground, right? Mm. Well, this one here with this stabilizer, what it does now with that one just out of chance ended up doing is keeping everything that's functional on the bow off the ground. So I'm like, well, I like it. It's simple, right? Yeah. So I left that on there, and I went to a bow shop, and there was a guy there. He said, "What in the hell are you doing with a stick on the front of your stabilizer?" And I showed him what it did, and I showed him all the little functions on it. He's like, "Did you get drawings on that yet?" I said, "No, not really." He goes, "I would, because I've been in this for 35 years, and I've never seen anybody do that. That's crazy." I said, "Cool." So I went home, and I made one out of aluminum. So I had some aluminum there in the shop, and I just kind of cut it and made it to fit, and I tapped the back of this and put a bolt on it that goes in the front of that riser, and found some aluminum and bent it into a U-shaped saddle. Took some screws and screwed it down to another piece, and then I wrapped it in paracord, basically for padding, just for padding right there. And I put it on my bow, and I hunted with it for about a year. And I took this bow with this stabilizer. I went to South Africa with it, and I hunted. And even people down there were like, "What the hell's sticking out of your front of your bow?" Because if you know archery and you know accessories, you know that every other stabilizer on the market is a round circle pipe looking deal sticking out the front.
Right? Or like long, short ones. They got like something like 3 feet long too, right?
Right. They got, for target bows, they got some that are 6 feet, which stick way out there. But they're all just a round circular tube, everybody's. So what made this thing kind of stick out is that it's flat. It's got a wide base. It's got a saddle sticking out of the front, which that's the main thing that catches everybody's eyes. What in the world is that V-shaped looking thing sticking out, right?
For people that don't know,
listeners.
Can you explain what the stabilizer does? Like in general, you talk about what they do. What's the main purpose of them?
Right.
Oh, hey. This podcast episode is brought to you by BCN Supplements. BCN Supplements is a Texas-based company that produces and manufactures everything right here in the great United States of America. The good thing is BCN caters to every single person on the fitness spectrum, whether you're a seasoned hybrid athlete, kind of like myself, or you're a newbie just now starting to pay attention to your health, kind of like Mike. BCN has what you need to make a healthy choice. Lately, I've been using BCN's pre-workout mix, and to be honest, I'm not really a pre-workout guy because I don't like the way most on the market make you feel. The crash and that tingly feeling. But you don't get any of that junk with BCN's pre-workout mix. I've noticed I had more focus during my lifts and more energy to carry through my longer workouts. And that pump you get is it's amazing. Drop what you're doing right now and go to bcnsubs.com to place your order today on this pre-workout mix. They got vitamins and they got collagen. And be sure to use promo code CWJM to receive 10% off your next purchase. BCN Supplements, helping build a better you from the inside out.
So in reference to a stabilizer, and that's another cool thing about this idea, about this product that I've got, is a stabilizer is basically used to balance your bow at full draw. So when you draw your bow back, and you draw your bow back and you line up, you want your bow to balance out in a certain spot. You want to be able to, once you hit your anchor point, your bow is going to kind of rest, and you're going to be able to just hold it there long enough for you to make that shot, right? So to do that, you got to be able to have that balance. If you don't have enough weight going forward, your bow will either come up or it'll be harder for you to hold it. If you have less weight or more weight, it's going to change that balance. That's what that's for. That's what your stabilizer is for. It's to balance out your shot at full draw. So that's what a stabilizer is for. Then they make these to protrude out of the front of the riser, so it'll give you that forward weight in the front of the bow. So it'll counter that weight, back and forth. That is predominantly what a stabilizer is for.
Doesn't it also help with vibration and mask the sound of the bow, the strings a little bit?
What a lot of people have done now, and they're getting better and better and better with stabilizers in reference to dampening, is they've added like rubber, like this one here. If y'all can see the inserts that it had inside, so that when that bow goes off on one side, it kind of transfers that energy into this bolt and then into the body of the stabilizer, and then it kind of dissipates into these little rubber deals here. That's what that's for. So companies have utilized a stabilizer for performance. So they've kind of gone in and revamped it and redesigned it to help with dampening, help with balance, help with all that stuff. And of course, aesthetics, it's got to look cool. You got to have something that's got to look cool. Like this one here is kind of, as you can tell, kind of weird, different looking, camouflage, cool stuff like that. That was why I bought it. I thought, man, that looks cool. You know, which is one of the big things about accessories, especially for if you're a hunter. I mean, even predominantly ladies. I mean, they like their stuff to look different. I mean, guys are pretty darn. I'm a little anal. I mean, this one's kind of it's got the different accents of tan and green and black, and then buckskin strings and whatever. I like those different accents of colors as well. But for the stabilizer, like I said, everybody out there's got a round circle looking deal. So when you screw it on there, it sits in one spot every time. Well, this stabilizer has to sit sitting straight up. That's how you utilize it. So what I've done with this thing, does that answer your question about a stabilizer?
Yeah, like just what the fuck, like for folks that don't know what bow hunting is and stuff.
Right.
No.
So what I've done with this thing, now I've given you all a little bit of background about, where it came from and where the idea was.
You also too, before you actually made that one, I think I remember you saying you looked on the market if there was anything like it.
I did after I talked to that one guy that's been in it forever. I did a search. I looked around because I was like, man, I'm going to buy one like that because it works perfect. I like it. So I'm going to buy one. So I went on every site that I know of. I went to every pro shop in the state. I went to a pro shop in Colorado. I went to a couple of them in Idaho, and I looked around everywhere, and I couldn't find anything like it. I mean, it's a simple idea. It's got to be out there somewhere. So I looked around, man. I couldn't find nothing. So I did a patent search and looked it up, and I mean, there's thousands of stabilizers. Back in the day, there was something not similar, but kind of something, but it was like in the 70s, which expired, a long time ago. So I applied for a patent pending, what they call, with just some basic drawings that I did on a piece of paper, shot them over to the patent office. They did a search, and they're like, no, ain't nobody got it. I said, well, I'll take it. So I was like, yeah, here's my $200, and let's go, patent pending, and I'll send you some real drawings off of CAD, So I did that, and I got some good drawings done on a CAD, and that's when I came. I think 2018. 2018 is when I came up with the Mach 3 model. So what I call this, so this is Mach 1.
The stick.
The stick.
This reminds me of Iron Man when he was perfecting the suit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you're showing all the prototypes leading to the final product. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think his are Mark.
Yeah.
Is that where you got it? Yeah. Kind of close.
Kind of close. Yeah. So Mach 1, Mach 2, and this was Mach 3. So this was the actual, engineered, designed, fabricated, deal that I sat down and designed, which is, as you can tell, simple, right? All it is basically is just, it's a 6061 aluminum rod with a same style aluminum bar, just bent into a certain angle and welded to it, and a bolt. And all I built this thing for first time, which it's kind of heavy, I built it basically for functionality. All I wanted it to do was to help you carry your bow and to be able to set your bow down. So when you grab your bow, like when I walk, and you grab a hold of your riser and your grip there, this thing, as you can see, sits in your forearm, and you can walk, and it just doesn't really, get out of place. It kind of just stays there. That PVC plastisol down there at the bottom is a great cushioning, and not only that cushioning, it grips a lot of anything.
Right. If you're sweating and stuff too.
I mean, even if it's wet, it grips rock, dirt, wood, whatever. That's the cool thing about that.
A lot of people don't really think about that. But if you're walking for miles on end, you hear Rogan and like Cam Hanes talking about, hiking for miles and hours on end.
Right.
Every little bit helps.
Anything. I mean, anything that you can do to your equipment to help you be a better hunter, make a better shot, to make that hike or make that journey easier, I mean, why not add it? I mean, that's how this thing has kind of evolved, you know, and it's evolved in the field for me because I you know, I hunt with it every year and I hunt all the time, so it's easy for me to trial and error, you know, all the time. So the cool thing about it, we know when I came up with the Mach 3, you know, like I said, it was just built predominantly for functionality. So what I wanted it to do is just be able to help carry your bow and to help set your bow down wherever you want it. So whenever you go to, you know, take your trophy picks, which that's the big thing nowadays. You got to take your trophy pick. You know, you set that bow down. You know, there's a lot of people. If you look on any site you want to, and you see this thing leaning on a critter, and that cam is dug into the dirt, it drives me nuts. You see that? It just drives me nuts. And you know, a lot of people do that. You know, they walk up to their critter, or even at the target. You know, they shoot a target and walk up and they're like looking around. That's the first thing you see everybody do. Looking around, where am I going to put this thing? You know, because I don't want to mess it up. You know, that thing's expensive, you know. And where am I going to put it? Where am I going to put it? Well, I don't think about that anymore. And anybody that's bought one of these already, they don't think about that anymore. I mean,
what was the feedback? Was the Mach 3 the first one that you actually started to sell?
So the Mach 3 was the first one that went to market. I started my store, and I launched these in 2019 after I finished everything and kind of did some testing. So far, in reference to the Mach 3 model, I got all positive. There was, I think, one review in reference to it was a little heavy for them, which is understandable. It's a solid piece of aluminum. It's a little heavy.
Let me see
for what it is.
Is it? I mean, have you compared the weights of that?
I have.
Your traditional.
I have. So in reference to the Mach 3, like that's a Mach 3 8-inch. There's 3 different models. You got a 6-inch, 8-inch, and a 10-inch. So that 8-inch Mach 3 was like 11.8 ounces, right? And now the 8-inch, we'll talk about that one, the new one that just came out, the Mach 4. The new 8-inch is like 8.8. So what I've done is I've kind of focused more on performance and functionality on the Mach 4 versus, you know, just functionality only. And I've gone a little, you know, aesthetics too. This was like, I don't know what I can do to kind of make it look cool. I just put some paracord on it, you know, whatever. It makes it look cool, and it also, it has just a little bit of forward weight to the front. You know, you want that FOC, which is called forward of center. You know, you want that to be able to give you more balance in the front. That's the reason I put the saddle in the front, obviously, that gives you more forward weight, you know, for your balance.
Yeah.
So the Mach 3 did really well when it first came out because it was the first time for anything like this to hit the market, and it was different. So, it did really well. And, I sold at least 100 of them.
Nice.
Which is pretty good.
You're predominantly on you're using Instagram and Facebook to promote.
That's all I use, just Instagram, Facebook, and I've got a Shopify, deal that I utilize for billing and ordering and all that other stuff. But it did pretty good when the Mach 3 came out. There was a lot of there's always something I can add or something that I could do better with this stabilizer, and that's again, it's evolving. And right now I'm working on something else even better. So it's ever changing.
As an improvement on this, or a different component?
An improvement
on this.
Correct.
Can't say that yet, huh?
Not yet.
So did you take the feedback on the Mach 3 to get into the Mach 4?
Correct.
Yeah, I see that already.
Correct. So when the Mach 3 came out, I used it. I loved it. I like a heavier bow. I like more weight out front. I shoot. This is a 33 axle to axle. So in reference to, I know you're not that familiar with archery, Mike, but from that little bolt that holds that cam in there, right there inside that one. So that's your axle point. Okay, from that axle to this axle, that's your difference of axle to axle length. Okay, this one here is 33 axle to axle. Yeah, what that does, and it's got a 7-inch brace height, so what that does is give you more forgiveness when you draw that thing back in reference to your balance, in reference to your release, and whenever you lock in at full draw, it's going to have that. You'll feel the difference on when I say forgiveness, and you shoot a shorter axle to axle, or when it's crazy long, you'll feel it kind of, you lock, and it's just harder to hold it in place. When you get one that's just right for you for me, 33 axle to axle with the weight that I have out front, I'm just smooth. And whenever I come to my anchor point, I'm already locked in on target. So that's how, I've got it balanced out that way. And everybody's different. You're going to have you got a wingspan on you, so you're going to have probably, 30-inch, 31-inch draw length for you. He's probably got my draw length around 28. So, he shoots, I think you shoot a Halon.
Yeah.
And it's
Halon 6.
Yeah, Halon 6. And you're probably at 28-inch or 27-inch.
27-inch.
27-inch, yeah. So you're right. He's right around there. For 27, and he's right at a 30. He's got the Halon 6. He's right at a 30 axle to axle, so 30 inches. And, and his brace height's probably 6.5, maybe. It's a Halon 6, so it's 6. So his draw weight and his axle to axle and his brace height and his length on it's all going to change. So like if he shoots my bow, he might not like it. It might be smoother. It might not be. So that's when he can start working on performance. So that's what I did with the Mach 4.
Interrupt you real quick.
Go ahead.
Hearing you talk about this, and I don't think people that don't hunt, I don't think they can appreciate what all goes into setting up your archery equipment. You know what I mean? It's not just, I'm going to go pick up a bow and I'm going to buy some arrows, because we hadn't even talked about arrows yet.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole nother
ballgame.
That's a whole nother subject for a whole nother podcast probably. But there's a lot that goes into archery, hunting in general, but archery is that's a passion. It's an evolution of how we came about as humans.
Correct.
And everything has that, like running. Like, there's a lot that goes into running, developing a training plan. But I don't think people really appreciate what all goes into archery, just going out on a hunt.
And that's something that needs to be discussed. And I'll tell you why. Because during COVID, I can't tell you. There's a chart, and there's actually, if you look it up, about how many people joined the archery community during COVID.
Really?
They could find nothing to do. So, what are we going to do? You can't buy bullets, and there's no ammo, but you can buy a bow and arrow and shoot a bow and arrow. Yeah. So, the archery community grew substantially during COVID time. So that changed, a lot, which is it's good and it's bad. You have a lot of novice archers out there, but they're looking for new products. They're looking for something that looks cool. They're not thinking about performance. So I am not a salesman by any means. So what I decided to do,
I don't even have a bow. I want one of these things.
Well, what I did is, I know how to build stuff.
Yeah. Are you building these?
I'm building these. Yes.
You're doing this. Yeah. You're manufacturing these.
Right. Yeah.
You have a machine shop, or?
Well, in my shop. Yeah, I just kind of
I
do all this stuff. So, what I did, like I said, I'm not a salesman. So I'm trying to build a product that I don't have to sell. It sells itself. Mm-hmm. So that's what it's kind of what I've done. In reference to, this thing every day changing to me, different ideas, just trying to figure out what I could do next to it. So, to answer your question, there's a ton that goes in if you want to be successful, especially if you're a hunter, if you're a bow hunter. There's a lot that goes into your bow setup, your arrows, your tips, your practice, what animal you're going to hunt. In reference to my store, my Instagram, my company is Aimforapassthrough. So Aimforapassthrough, to me, a long time ago, it kind of stuck with me. Somebody asked me, "Where'd you hit him at?" I said, "Well, I aim for a pass-through." It's reference to know your animal, know the anatomy, make sure that you know that what angle that deer or that whatever critter you're shooting at. Know that arrow is going to pass through. That way, aim for your exit and know that you're going to get all your vitals. It ain't going to stick. It ain't going to go in the gut. It ain't going to go wherever else. Watch behind it and make sure you don't hit something else. So just, aim for a pass-through is kind of what that means. So that's where that name came from. And it's something that's said in the archery community all the time, right?
Yeah.
Really?
I looked it up. Well, nobody had that name.
Oh, no.
So I bought the domain. Yeah, so I bought that on that too.
This was just too easy.
I know. So I own that too.
That's awesome.
I haven't seen a really clean etch of the name right here.
I know.
You can probably buy an etcher to do that.
So I've kind of, I'm working with another guy. He owns a like a printing company and he's also part of Matthews Incorporated. He used to work for them for a long time. And he's working on something that's going to be kind of cool to go on the side of these bodies. It's going to kind of make it more pop, more aesthetics, more colors.
Yeah.
You know.
So for your the brand look, right?
Right.
Because right now, if I'm just looking at this, I can't. It sticks out because of the saddle, right?
Right.
But it needs the brand, right?
Yeah, you need to know, what it is.
Yeah.
Like some etching, like
right.
some like what is it called? Like outlined letters.
Yeah.
Like real clean.
Yeah.
You know?
It looks sexy
Some
on there.
engraving on there.
I mean, you can even do what is it called? Like like a dip. You can dip some of these to have like a line of like
for the girl or something.
One. Yeah. I mean, sky's the limit on this thing, man.
It is, and that's the cool thing about it. You know, every year I come out with something different. So, and that's what I've done. So last year. This is when I came up with the Mach 4 model. So this is the Mach 4. As you can tell, there's a little bit of difference, in reference to the body. The saddle is not going to change because basically the saddle is what that patent's all about, because nobody's got the saddle. So that my patent, I did apply for a patent. I did go patent pending, and I got the patent. I got approved for the patent. So it
takes a long time normally, doesn't it?
It normally does, yes, but I got it within a year.
Oh, wow.
And I got the actual patent number. So this thing is patented under my name, and I'm in the registry. So that's big in itself,
Mike takes it. He tries to steal it.
Yeah. How long was that again? Don't you need to put the patent
You can take it
number
all
on
you
there,
want,
too?
buddy. Just make sure you got a big check. I'm going to come after you.
That's funny.
So in reference to now the Mach 4 model, so what I've done now is try to, not get away. I still maintain functionality, right? So we still have all the benefits of the Mach 3 and the benefits of why I came up with this thing, right? It's got the saddle, helps you carry it, helps you set your bow down, as you can see. So what I did now is try to go into performance. I don't know if y'all can see that very well, but so there was, I had one review, and I knew myself that this thing was just a little heavy. If you try carrying a bow for miles in the backcountry, it gets, even though, this one I think weighs 3.8 pounds with nothing on it. And when you start putting everything on it, you're pushing 6-7 pounds. When you're carrying that in one arm for, 5-10 miles, it gets freaking heavy, right? And the reason, I've got a sling on my bows, but man, I'll be honest with you, I've missed the opportunity at 2 Pope and Young bull elk because I had it either slung or I had it on my backpack. And I walked up on two bedded bulls in two different years. One bull in thick ferns, never saw him. I was just creeping through, and this dude just
I'm surprised you wear a sling. I know that's a controversial thing in the archery community, sling or no sling.
Right. It is. This sling in particular is called the Slingaling, made by
That's good.
It is.
Damn.
That's good.
It is made by a buddy of mine that I met at Total Archery Challenge. He makes these slings, and man, he's it's a really cool. I'm going to advertise for him a little bit, but it's a really cool product. So you can. It's got a little magnet on it, so when you take it off, you sling your bow, and when you're done with it or you need to shoot, this thing just takes it.
Hold it in place.
It gets the sling out of the way.
Magnets make everything cooler, don't they?
Make everything cooler.
Golly.
So, that's I use this particularly when I'm going to walk to a stand. I'll sling my bow. Here. When I'm out hunting in the backcountry, I typically don't use the sling because I always got to have my bow ready when I'm walking because you never know when something's gonna. That's like I said, I missed opportunities at 2 different bulls because I had it. One at the time I had it sling, the other time I had it on my backpack. I'm just walking.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, well,
that's when you learn, huh?
Douche, big old dude just stands up. And actually, the second bull when I had it slung, I had a little better opportunity. The second bull that I almost had, I actually was able to get it off my shoulder, take an arrow out of the quiver, and when I locked that arrow onto the string, it went click. He gone. He took off.
Is that what divides the group from sling to no sling? Is it the preparedness of finding something to shoot?
Well.
Or is it like a sissy thing? What divides the 2 groups?
Between the sling and
no sling.
And unsling?
Uh-huh.
Really, it's all about aesthetics.
And the people don't think that looks good to have that?
People think it looks good, and they like to have things that, that are functional and look cool.
Yeah.
So, yes, That's one of the reasons I have it, because one, it matches kind of everything that I got going on here, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I've got your wrist sling here, which helps hold your bow in place when you're at draw, and then this thing kind of matches, and kind of the blacked out kind of look is what I like with this bow. And then I can use it, you know, particularly here. So I use it a lot when I walk out to a stand here when I'm hunting. When I say here, I say Texas, because I hunt in Colorado and I hunt in Idaho. So when I use it, you know, here to go to a stand, that's what I utilize to walk out there. So, yeah.
That's really cool. So I can tell some of these upgrades already. I feel like you have the circles for the weight.
Right. So in reference to the body, I did take, why I wanted to put these circles in here is take weight off. You know, that's going to take a lot of weight off. So I CNC'd these holes particularly to match the Matthews mini dampeners. And those Matthews mini dampeners are these tiny little rubber things that come in and out.
And that's what I was going to get at. You have this thing that holds your bow, and then you have this thing that that allows you to grab it. But I didn't see at this point where it's really the dampener.
Right.
Now you've answered.
So now we're going to performance. So what I've done now with these CNC holes, and by the way, that because y'all are going to put this podcast out live. These mini dampeners from Matthews are actually approved by Matthews for me to utilize.
Oh wow!
Yeah, how'd you do that?
I just called them.
Damn, really?
Everything's worked out just perfect for him. I know. Everything's just working out.
I called the dude, and I mean, I can say his name. He's a cool guy, and he would help anybody. But his name's Mike Zebel with Matthews Incorporated. I was like, hey, man, this is my idea. This is what I got. I sent him pictures, sent him emails about what I'm doing. And he's like, yeah, I mean, we can't sell them to you in bulk because we don't have them right now. But, yeah, you can use them, put them in there.
Holy cow.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's just someone's word, right? Did he get something
It's an email.
writing?
It's an email. Yeah.
That's good.
So I was like, man, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other dampeners like that on the market or no?
No. Those are, that's a
That's
patented product.
patented too?
That's patented product.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
They patent that?
They did. Yeah.
So, I mean, they've been in business for a while. I mean,
Matthews Incorporated. Oh, yeah.
So these will be around for your product, right?
Right.
Because you have to depend on them kind of.
Correct.
I mean, it already eliminates weight, but it also works as the dampening unit.
Right.
Have you had any issues with using the new model and these things falling out?
No. That's why these are actually CNC cut to hold these where they won't come out.
Okay.
I mean, you can force them out like I just did, but when you're shooting or walking or doing whatever, they won't come out of there. So what that does now is, when you have your bolt that's attached to the riser, and all that force and that energy comes through, goes into that bolt, and then transfers into the body, so it dampens. And this is a 10-inch, so it dampens 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dampens 5 times less with that bow and that string. So what it does, it hits your string stop. This string will pop this right here, and all that energy will transfer through, and it'll dissipate little by little by little. But where the real dampening is at is in the saddle. So the saddle is like, as you can see, this wide, big-bodied platform here that's got a coating of plastisol PVC, bonded plastisol PVC. So if you feel that right there, you feel the
that's a lot different than the other one.
Right, the density, the dexterity. So I changed that to be able to really absorb any kind of shock or vibration or anything. So that's where it's really going to completely deaden it out.
Yeah.
All the energy.
That's trigger time, right? Like that's the moment, that sound, that little pop of the string is when the deer, what's the first move they make? It's hunch, and then it's jump, right?
Yeah, they're typically going to hit, their belly's going to touch the ground first.
Yeah, and that's when drop. A lot of archers miss, right?
Right. And the reason they do that too is a lot of archers, if you got older, I mean, a lot of these bows nowadays they're sort of quiet. They're quiet, they're fast, they're really dead in the hand, or as it is already. But if you're like a new archer, like we talked about, and you're not used to hearing that string pop, or you're not used to hearing that or feeling that vibration, you get gun shy. When you start to get into it, and you start pulling your trigger, you start, doing whatever it is because you're worried about that vibration and that string pop. Well, this helps diminish, those issues. So it takes out that vibration, takes out that sound. Everything dissipates into this stabilizer. So that's another thing I wanted to do for performance. Especially with all these new archers that don't understand that, you know, when you pull a bow back at 70 pounds, I mean, it's a lot of force coming forward. You know, it's gonna move, it's gonna pop. You know, just like when you shoot a rifle. You know, if you get somebody on a table and they shoot a rifle 8-10 times, and you're loading for them, well, you tell them, all right, it's ready to go, but don't put a bullet in it and let them shoot. And that trigger click, and watch how much they'll flinch. They will flinch like crazy because they're anticipating that shot every time. So,
well, does with that pop, is that arrow gonna hit the animal before they hear the pop, before they process that pop, or are you having to aim down for it to squat?
It depends on your setup. So it depends on how fast your bow is. It depends on where you're, like we talked about, aim for a pass-through. You know, if a lot of times with these newer bows nowadays, like this one's like, you know, in reference to speed, you know, through the chrono with a 480 grain arrow, you know, I'm shooting at 290 feet a second. You know, so it just depends on how far they are or whatever it is. Yeah, it's pretty fast. Dude.
Damn. I mean, that's like a football field of a second, right?
No.
What did you say?
290 feet per second.
How many feet are in a
300, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And 300 foot a football field?
100 yards, 300 feet,
yeah. So a football field a second?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
That's pretty
cool. Can we all agree on that? hey, is that fair?
That's pretty accurate.
That's fucking crazy.
Right. And, you know, IBO speeds for this bow out of the manufacturer is like 333 or 328, somewhere around there.
Dude, can you imagine him shooting on a football field and you just, in a blink of an eye, how far does it go if you shot? Can you?
I mean, like I said, I can shoot 100 yards, you know, pretty easy.
Yeah, but you say 300 feet a second, but it shoots about 300 feet, right? Or does it shoot more?
No, it'll shoot way further than that.
Really?
Yeah.
And keep straight?
If you want it to, yeah.
What's the furthest Cam Haynes posted on IG he shot? It was like 250
252, I think.
Yeah. He had to eye his target with binoculars.
Yeah.
And then shoot it with a bow.
Yeah.
Do they make scopes for this? Like
they make a glass, like a lens that goes inside the sight. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and you know, in some states you can't use that, especially when you're hunting. You know, they don't allow any kind of electronic. Like Idaho, you can't have anything electronic on your bow. You can't have a sight light. You can't even have a lighted knock.
Oh wow!
So
what's the point for that?
You know, I don't know. I think it's more, especially lighted knocks. For me, you know, in reference to lighted knocks, they help you pinpoint your shot placement. You can find your arrow. You don't leave nothing left in the back in the country. I think it's more politics than anything else. It's
still kind of new, right? That technology hasn't been around a long time.
New.
You think it's like more of a purist thing? Like people think you should?
Yeah, they don't want to they don't want to give even for muzzle loading up there, you got to be like primitive muzzle loader basically. You can't have a scope.
That makes sense then.
So it's more towards giving fair game.
That's pretty cool actually.
Deal. Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
I like it. I don't mind it at all. I mean, I've been hunting Idaho since 2015. I've been pretty successful there. And, I haven't had any issues.
That's actually hunting, right? That's what real hunting is. Yeah, a lot of states make fun of Texas because we used deer feeders and I'm gonna go hunt and we go out to the deer stand.
Yeah,
a lot of people make fun of Texas.
You're not going hunting. You're gonna drink beer. What you doing?
Wake up, Johnny! Deer's out there, it's ready.
Hey, he would post videos of my cousin Bobby. So they'd be out hog hunting. I need to show you these videos, but they'd be out hog hunting, right? So they're sitting in a hog blind waiting for hogs. And he'd pan the camera over to my cousin Bobby. My cousin Bobby would just be passed out. And he'd be like, Bobby, wake up. And he'd be like, oh, shit, where's it at? And there's nothing there. That's like the old hunting tales. Like you do that. Those are good videos, dude.
Yeah, we did that. I did that to him in Colorado back, I think it was 2006. I used to mess with him a lot because we used to hunt together all the time. And, he got to a point where he got used to it. And he wouldn't wake up or he wouldn't do nothing. But the time that there was he was asleep and there was freaking elk coming out, and he was like, I had to hit him like 4 times.
Yeah, take it serious, huh?
But man, after he woke up and opened his eyes and saw that elk in front of him, it didn't take long.
God dang.
I barely had enough time to hit record. I got that on video. I barely had, I went clink, boom. I mean, but I got it on video. Yeah.
That's good times. You're also adding little gadgets now too, right?
What is this thing that you have on here?
So, and this thing is ever changing, like I said. So I wanted to focus on performance on the Mach 4 model. So I did that. So and now it dampens a whole lot, which the Mach 3 dampened as well. The plastisol PVC on this whole body here, it wasn't as thick and it wasn't bonded, so it was just more of just for padding is what I wanted it for. But this one changed it. So on the body, I went with a fluidized bed coating on the body. That way I can fit these dampeners inside here. And then I went with a bonded, little thicker plastisol PVC for some density, and that gives you that vibrations, right? And then the front, I tapped it. So what you can do now is you can put a bolt here and add weights. So that'll give you more. It'll give you more forward weight to balance your bow out. So that's more about performance, right? And the back here, I put some set screw holes. I tapped that there because this stabilizer, when you start putting it in your forearm and carrying your bow, it starts to come rock loose and it starts to come loose, right? So, that was an issue. So what I did on the Mach 4 is I put 2 set screws. So now you can screw it in your bow and set your lock nut, your lock washer, your lock nut, wherever you want it, and tighten it down, and then set your set screws. So what that's going to do is lock it in tight.
Does it not move anymore?
It doesn't move anymore.
Not at all?
No.
Wow.
No. It locks it dead nuts, right? So that's the cool thing about it. And then, what I wanted to do is, I wanted to add more accessories to the accessory. So this thing is already, it does how many things? I mean, y'all lost count?
Just short of covering the rain.
I know. So, and there's things too. There's some guys that look at it and they're like, oh, you know what else it can do? I'm like, what? And they're like this. I'm like, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, I got that coming.
I'm like, I'm gonna write that shit.
Yeah.
So, there's the other guy. Like, there was one guy that I sent it to him and he wanted to do a review on it. And I didn't tell him much about it. I just sent it to him. He said, yeah, I want to do a review and do a video, whatever. But when I sent it to him, he had put it on his bow this way. He turned it over.
And what benefits did it make?
And it did have a benefit. So, and he was carrying it a different way. So when he had it on here, he was grabbing his bow and the stabilizer, the saddle was on the top.
I mean, it works both ways, doesn't it?
And I'm like, well, maybe it's ambidextrous. Let me write that down on the package. So that was pretty cool about it.
Maybe you make 2 sides, huh?
Right.
make it an X. I'm starting to see now right here is that, have you thought about making this whole thing covered in this for it to be all a dampener?
Well, the reason I didn't do that is
it looks cool that way too.
Right. Well, one is aesthetics. 2 is if I put this all the way across, these holes are not going to be fit correctly. I would have to cut these holes bigger to fit these dampeners, and that would leave too thin of body on here in between each side. And it would probably, because it's aluminum. I mean, it'd have
to be precision. Like it'd have to be tapered down in the hole.
It would have to be, but it would take too much out of the body that's already gone. This little spot right here.
Yeah.
It would have to be a bigger hole. And I didn't want to do that. So, I want it to be rigid. And this is aluminum. 6061 aluminum. I mean, you could probably run this over with your pickup truck and it probably won't bend.
Especially John's.
Especially a Ford, any Ford, because it's aluminum.
He drives. You know what he drives? He drives what is it?
Damn Dodge Ram. That's what
he drives my son's little battery go-kart's bigger than his car.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got to.
What is it?
Is it a toaster?
It's a Honda.
It's a Honda Fit.
A Honda Fit.
Yeah, I drive an hour to work.
Wow, so that's the.
You could pour the rest of your coffee in his car and it'll fill up the tank.
It'll be loaded down.
So if I dump some of this in the fuel tank, would it like?
It'd probably run. It'd probably run.
It probably would.
Yeah. That's the benefit of having it, man. Gas prices right now.
Wow.
That's what you got right now.
So do you plug that one in?
I'm thinking of ways I can use this. This probably run it right now.
Hey, if you put this on top, it might not go nowhere. But, so that's a plug-in car, I guess.
No.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's just a fuel-efficient small car.
Oh, okay.
It's the same engine as John's. It's just John has like a truck body on it. Like the RC cars, you just put the mold on there.
That's true.
I could put the truck mold if I wanted to.
It's a Ford. I mean, he does have a Ford.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Stupid.
Okay. Yeah, this podcast brought to you by Dodge Ram.
I wish.
Cummins diesel, baby.
This is cool, man.
So
the other thing I was thinking too, like, what if you made a weight that fit in here?
Well,
because this is where you want the weight, right?
Right. Let me show you something.
Like on the end of it.
There's your weight.
Oh wow.
Oh, is that a weight?
Yep.
So this is already happening.
Inside each one of these dampeners has a weight already.
Dang.
Yeah. There's another feature. I mean, you literally got to write it down. I mean, this thing is
nothing short. So did you see a noticeable difference when you, the Mach 4, putting these dampeners in? I mean, you shoot this thing so much that is it a noticeable difference, honestly?
100%.
Really?
So 100%. you can shoot with the Mach 3 and switch over to this, and you can tell a difference?
Big time.
Because, I mean, alone, you've changed this, so this has a lot different feel than that.
Correct. Yeah, this one's more like plastic. You know, you can hear that.
Yeah.
You can hear the aluminum through there. And this one is, you can tell how it's softer. So it gives it more, dexterity to kind of sit on things. I mean, this is a hide. You're not supposed to be able to stop it on a hide, but it's stopping on a hide.
Yeah, it's a good material, man.
Yeah, it really grips onto a lot of different things. I've got some pictures where there's like a dead, big spruce or something that's fell over and it's cut, and it's at an angle. My bow is sitting on it, and it gripped it. It stayed there. So that stuff grabs a hold, man. I'm telling you, it holds on to rock, holds on to. So
are you able to attach little lights to it now, or what? What's that you got on the bottom?
So. I went into performance. I changed the body. I did. That coating that's on the body is actually rubber, so it's a fluidized bed coating, basically like what goes in the back of your pickup truck,
like Rhino Guard kind of.
Basically, yeah, same type of stuff. So that entire stabilizer is coated in that. Okay, even the saddle, and then the saddle is dipped again, is primered, bonded, and dipped again in that plastisol PVC. So the whole body itself, in a way, is a dampener.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Okay, right. So that helps again with performance. And then you have your weight on the front that you can add, which if you got that bolt on the front, you can add another dampener to it if you want. Just like this thing that's on the front of here, this will unscrew, and I can screw it on the front of that if I wanted to.
Oh wow!
And add another dampener. So you can add more stuff to it. So that's what I did with the screw holes that you see on the bottom there.
Yeah, you got two here on the side too, right?
Those are the set screws for the bolt. Okay. So those two screws there, those are particularly put on there and tapped for a Picatinny Rail. So if nobody knows what a Picatinny Rail is,
they must be dumb because
you got that stuff on your gun now, right?
No, I still don't know what that is.
Okay.
Picatinny?
Yeah.
Picatinny?
Picatinny. So a Picatinny Rail is just a 2-slot. Basically, I mean, everybody's kind of seen this on, AR style platforms or, the older style Ruger rifles. It's like a Barbie doll.
Yeah.
Take it off, put something else on, put a light, put a whatever it is. So I wanted to add that to give more options to this thing. There was a guy there he said, "Dude, what else can you do to it? It's already a Swiss Army knife," which he's right, So that one right there, this stabilizer, that particular 8-inch, I've got a Tacticam, which is a camera that now I can attach it on there, and it can.
You can film your hunts on it.
You can film all your hunts, and do whatever you want to.
That'd be cool to get a custom one that goes all the way along here.
You can get any size you want.
You can adjust your.
You can get one that goes even further past and do whatever kind. That's the thing about the stabilizer. I mean, it's changing. So this one here, so I hunt. Right now I'm hunting in Texas. I'm hunting at night, hunting hogs. So I've got this light. So now I've got a flashlight on your darn bow.
Yeah.
I know.
So you can do whatever you want. Put a red light on it, put a green light on it, put a regular light on it. And this is, whatever. I've noticed that. A lot of times lately, especially for foxes and critters and stuff, I mean the white light works fine.
Yeah,
they're just kind of like deer in the headlight kind of look, and freaking arrow through the eyeball. So that's the other thing I want to do with it. Just add some more things that you can do to it.
Make it more functional, man. That's what you're doing too.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's a cool product. It's cool. It's different. It kind of stands out. There's another cool thing. So the other day, I went to go drop off some dead critters at the taxidermist. Well, the taxidermist next door, he's also the owner of Archery Country in Austin. And I talked to him, and I said, "Hey, man, have you seen my stabilizer?" He goes, "Yeah, I saw that thing. That's different." I said, "Yeah, all the guys in the shop are talking about it." I said, "Yeah, that's what I heard." I asked him, I said, "Hey, what do you think about putting that in your store?" He said, "Go for it."
Oh, wow.
I'm like, man, I can't go wrong with this thing. Every time I ask something, it's like, do it.
Yeah, you just ask. I was going to ask you, why have you not gone by like Bass Pro Shop and all these different stores and try to get it on the shelves?
I haven't gone to any retail yet. I've gone to. I just asked the owner. Happened to run into him. I asked the owner at Archery Country, and he's like, "Yeah, go for it."
Dude, that's awesome.
Oh, shit. All right, well, I'll get her done.
Yeah, because you can sell it to the store, and then they sell it. I guess they have to, believe in the product. Of course,
there's a point system, so you sell it and give them a percentage, whatever it is. They sell it through their license and their sales tax, and give them a percentage. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. So I've got these other ideas in my head that I'm working on cutting right now, and I'm trying to get more product. That's my issue with everything that's going on right now. So metal is a commodity item.
Yeah, and everything's made in the United States.
Correct. So I get my aluminum out of Utah, and the aluminum has skyrocketed. It's probably tripled in price for just raw aluminum, which is like everything else in the U.S. So I get that aluminum out of Utah. Everything is built here in Texas. Designed here, engineered here, fabricated here. Everything done in Texas. I get all my coating, the fluidized bed coating, and the plastisol PVC done in Pennsylvania by a mom and pop family owned company. Cool people. They just and they run it through. They make me a heck of a deal. That guy's a bow hunter, so he understands. So it makes it even better. So that's the cool thing about this product is I've been approached by 4 different people. Dude, let's send this thing overseas and get it. $5, get them made for $5, get them. No, I'm good. Yeah, well, you got to understand they're trying to kick a business plan at me. Look at this percentage here. Yeah, man, I already said no. I don't care. I'm keeping this here, made in the U.S. by U.S. products, and it ain't going nowhere else. So that's the main, one of my main, not even sellers, just something I'm proud of.
Yeah. We need to bring more jobs to America, and that's the other sketch on the other side.
It is.
Made in America.
Right.
So how fast do you turn these things around? I mean, it's going to get to the point when you hire a couple people to kind of turn them over, huh?
Right. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm talking with a guy who's got a shop, and he's got some, better tools than I've got, and he's going to try to help me, come up with this other idea that I've got in mind. I've got some drawings done, and again, it's another addition to this one. So it's going to be the Mach 5. So.
Oh, that sounds good.
Right.
Sounds good off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Mach 5.
You better come with the Mach 5, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is a noticeable difference from the Mach 3.
Right.
And what about, do you have a sizing chart for people, like when they get this? Because I'm sure, like you were saying, I'm taller. I'll probably use a longer one than this.
That's the thing about this stabilizer. Now it's all about the way you want your bow to look, because it's now adjustable for performance.
Because how many sizes are there?
Now there's 3 different lengths. I've got a 6-inch, a 10-inch, and an 8-inch. So some guys, some girls, they want a shorter one. That's
does this one hold the bow? Being this short?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the 6-inch, like this right here. You can see that's 6-inch, which you tell the difference. The 6-inch got 3 holes. The 8-inch got 4. The 10-inch has 5.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
that's actually cool.
As you can see, it still sits in your forearm.
That one looks slick.
Yeah,
it might be a aesthetics choice.
It's a preference.
So and it's all about your accessories. So some guys got these long sights sticking out. So you're gonna need a longer stabilizer to keep it the sight off the ground. This one. My 10-inch, I like that model for that axle to axle, because for me it just balances out perfect. Even with that weight adds perfect balance for me. The 6-inch, the other thing too about the 6-inch and the 8-inch, which makes it easier for taking it in and out of a case. You don't have to take your stabilizer off. Like this one's got a quick connect attachment on it.
That's cool. That's the way to go too.
That's like the next thing. Huh?
Yeah. So. That's something I'm working on.
That's the next thing. You need to focus on that one.
Yeah. So it just depends on what somebody wants.
Are you going to like archery events and setting up tent shops, and like you got like a tent that has the Mule Stabilizer? I'm thinking of like Nick Bear on Instagram.
Right.
He shows like how he started his business. He would go to like gyms and set up shop outside?
Right.
And are you doing that like at archery events?
I haven't done it yet. It's something that I've been talking about doing.
Dude.
You know what the thing is about it?
Just time.
No, it's every archery event I want to go shoot. You know, I don't want to be tied down to like a little booth. You know, I guess I need to hire somebody to kind of run it.
Hire someone that knows their shit.
Right. I mean,
knows
but
what you know.
you know, there's nobody that can really, you know, like I said, I'm not a salesman, but there's nobody can really sell it better than me just because I know it. You know, I built it, I designed it, I know how it functions. But that is one of the things that I have in queue for this year and next year. There's a big event called the Archery Trade Association, ATA show. I don't know if y'all heard of that or not, but it's pretty huge. Like every vendor, every company, everybody's there. It's kind of like, y'all heard of SHOT Show?
No.
I
haven't.
No. The one in Vegas, you know, where all the gun manufacturers.
Okay. Yeah.
It's kind of like that big.
That's
you
what
know?
you need to go.
It's like the whole archery community goes.
All those,
you know?
what's the hunting one we used to go to, like in San Antonio, and they have one
Texas
Houston?
Trophy Hunters.
Yeah, that stuff too.
Yeah,
like,
they have those too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something I need to look at, you know, moving forward. But, you know, right now what I'm having issues, I don't have product. You know, like right now I'm sold out of 8-inch. I think that one that you're holding right there is probably the last one I got. So,
because it's expensive and you're holding off.
well, yes, it's expensive. One, two, I want to design the Mach 5 before I go ahead and, you know, pull the trigger on another, you know, 200 of them. You know,
yeah.
So, you know, I want to advance. I'd like to still have the Mach 4 just because it's, you know, it's still a cool product. But I know once the Mach 5 is out, everybody's going to want the Mach 5.
Yeah,
'cause it's going to be something different.
You don't keep the Mach 3 out. That one's obsolete now.
Basically, I have a few. I haven't had any requests for them after the Mach 4 came out. You know, kind of like, you know, buying a Ford.
You're keeping all the versions, right? At least one of them,
yeah.
so you can
Right.
for historical reasons and stuff.
Right. Especially this one that started all the stick.
Dude, that's
dope.
funny. You still have that
Yeah.
one.
It's dope.
Can you give us any sneak peeks or some ideas of what the 5's going to entail, or do you even know yet?
I do know that the 5 is going to be, you know, somewhat. I mean, it's going to be basically functionality and performance wise. It's going to be a whole lot better. What's really going to change on the Mach 5 is basically going to be something in reference to the functionality, not really the performance. So it's going to be, it's going to help you more.
Are you doing like Instagram ads and Facebook ads for it?
I've done a few, you know.
Does that work?
It does. Sometimes, you know, be sponsored. I'll get a few more likes on, you know, my page or whatever. I've got a Facebook page and an Instagram page. You know, when you do a sponsor, I'll get, you know, somebody will kick it around. You know, when I first came out with the Mach 3 model, I don't know if you saw the video when I first posted like a YouTube video about it. Like, man, in 2 days and like, you know, 50,000 views. You know, and it just kind of just took off. So when I launched it for the first day, I'm like, all right, guys, it's up, it's live. It was like, phone was like ding, 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 ding. I was like, holy crap. So I was like, when I had to buy like these huge boxes and stuff, you know, to start shipping stuff out, and man, it was like, man, pretty wild. But yeah, now I kind of tapered off, and I haven't really been like really active in it just because I'm trying to get product. You know, and I'm trying to design the new one. I need product, you know. Yeah. So.
You go to one of those shows, you're not going to be able to keep up.
Oh, I know. And even, you know, right now that I got the green light to put it in a retail store, I don't have product. So if I get it in a retail store, especially in Austin, with all the new archers that are in Austin, I mean, it's just going to, you know, I don't think I'm going to be able to keep up, you know.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing, so archery country now is Joe Rogan's bow shop.
Oh, that's right.
That's where he gets his stuff done. So, and I was talking to the owner of Archery, and he's like, dude, if Joe saw that, I guarantee you'd like it.
That's dope. Have you sent this to like Cam Haynes and other ones? Like,
I've sent them messages, you know, hey, you need to try this out, but you know, they don't ever respond.
You need to just send them one. I know they get a lot of stuff, but they get so many messages, dude.
Oh,
How do you get his address?
Yeah.
What's that?
How do we get his address?
Yeah, we had to find his address.
I can get you his address.
Or just wait on the top of the mountain.
I do. For real though, like if this is that good of I mean, you are an avid bow hunter, and if do you have a bias, or do you really think this is a good product?
No, I know exactly. I know I invented it. It's mine, but I'm telling you right now, it helps me 100%. I mean, I wouldn't go through all this if I didn't think it was going to work.
And you think it competes with the stabilization of a pure stabilization and not a multifunctional unit like this?
I think it does better.
That's than any one that you've ever tried.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I've had, I've been hunting, shooting a bow since I was 5. So I've had every bow, every stabilizer, everything, that you can think of. And
that's like the one thing on a bow that hasn't morphed into something else yet until this, right?
Until that.
Everything else, the cams, the sights, everything else has kind of changed, especially in the last like 10 years, since bow hunting has exploded.
Right.
But the stabilizers,
everybody's is a circle pipe.
Yeah.
That's all, and there was one company that came out with one that looked like a handle. Like it was a stabilizer that came out and it was a handle. But what it caused a bow to do is like the handle was like right here, and you grabbed it and the bow would hang like this.
Kind of torque your wrist up.
It would freaking jack your wrist up. I liked it when at first I'm like, oh, I'm buying one of those. I went and bought one like that day, and I put it on my bow and I had it on there just because it looked cool. Like everything else should. But when I used it, man, it wore the hell out of my wrist back and forth.
Yeah.
And then, I had to worry about, your bow hitting the ground on one side. So, that was another thing that helped me come up with this idea, So it's just, like John said, everything's kind of evolved other than stabilizers. I mean, there's aluminum stabilizers, there's carbon fiber stabilizers, there's different weights, there's different colors, all that other stuff. But everybody's looks the same. Other than this one. That's why whenever it sticks out of everybody like, we went to shoot the other day, a couple weekends ago, and, I walk by somebody and they're like,
that different, huh?
Yeah, they look like, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah.
It looks good to me.
Right.
It looks like a gun. It's like you're making it look kind of like a
it's more
like
tactical.
the aesthetic. Yeah, tactical is the exact word.
Right.
And I didn't notice it until you moved it just
Honda
a little bit.
Fit.
The Honda. You should put Honda Fit on there for me. Those shock absorbers in there look really cool because the middle's gold.
Yeah.
So when you moved it around, you can see it better. I can't see it over here,
Yeah.
but they almost look like little like
aesthetic eye pleasers
like
almost.
bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
It looks dope, man.
That looks cool, and you could even do some side stuff at some point. But I mean, it looks really.
I
good.
mean, this thing is, it's basically still. I mean, it's kind of a blank canvas. I mean, I have so many things in my head right now to do with this that
adding these accessory points for letting people customize their own setup is huge.
Oh, I know. I mean, you can change it to whatever you want to.
Yeah.
I mean, anything.
I think the less is more approach is good too. Though this thing looks so aesthetic to me.
Right, and what's crazy about it is so simple.
Yeah.
It's just a simple, piece of rod with a darn saddle on it.
Yeah.
That's basically all it is. That's why I call it the mule. It's a saddle. It helps you carry your stuff. It's a pack mule. That's where the name came from.
This is called the mule?
Yeah. Yeah.
If Cam put this in one of these videos, you'd be fucked.
Oh, yeah.
You would have to quit your job and make these.
I know. I wouldn't have any product left. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you thought about just going all in and just like quitting your job and doing it?
Well, yes and no. The reason I'm trying to, what I'm going to do is go all in this year and just make a bunch of them, because I know if I put them in a store, and that Mach 5 that's coming out, it's going to really change. And I think it's, but the problem is, I mean, there's a fine, tight line you got to walk right now, because the cost of building these things has doubled for me, as the producer. It's doubled. So what I have to do in turn is I have to increase the price, So now I got to worry about, somebody's going to be like, God damn, I don't want to pay that thing.
Yeah.
So, I've got to, like I said, I'm not a salesman. I got to make this thing to where, it's not just performance. It's not just functionality. It does everything, more than what would make you want to buy a Honda Fit.
Now I get it. Now I get it. I didn't get it before.
Hey, okay.
I think this alone, like having it set up, holding up the bow in front of pictures,
right?
That's the number one game changing thing.
Right.
Yeah, because I'd hate having how expensive is this bow?
Well,
I'm sure it's
this one here set up about $1,600.
Exactly. You don't want to put that shit on the ground. And
no,
that's a nice resting point for the bow there.
Right.
And, I'm sure there's you don't want to bend the cams and
what I do when I ship these things off, I'll send a little pad that goes with them. There's a pad that goes right there. You just
come on.
Yeah, just kind of glues on. So whenever you set your bow on your limb pockets there, you've got a padding there as well. So now you don't have.
That's pretty dope. That's a good idea.
With scratching it or messing it up. But your limb pockets are pretty damn tough. Anyway.
Yeah.
On most bows, there's a couple of them that there's some issues. So if there's an issue where the customer's got a different bow and their limb pocket's kind of hitting the ground or whatever, send me a picture and I'll figure it out. I'll send you whatever it is you need to kind of pad in that area. So, and they do that too. Some people want that paracord, so they'll send me a message. Hey man, can you wrap mine in paracord? Yeah, I'll wrap it. I'll wrap it and then I'll ship it to them.
Yeah, for a price.
Yeah, I mean it's like I charge them like $2 or whatever it is. You know. But that's and the other cool thing about I actually talked to Tacticam too. I got the guy, the production manager cell phone number. I talk to him all the time. And he's like, dude, that's freaking awesome. He's like, I think we have different mounts that goes on that Picatinny Rail that can put this stabilizer. So the reason I bought this particular one is on that bow, and this is more performance. So on that bow right there, it's a shorter axle to axle, and it's got a shorter stabilizer on it. So I need more weight. But when I draw back on that bow, for some reason, I've got just a little bit of a cant. The bow will lean one side or the other. So what other companies make stabilizers that go out the sides of the back side. They're called back bars. So it goes out the back sides, and it helps balance the bow out. Well, this Picatinny Rail with the offset camera will cant your bow one way or the other. So now you don't have to have those big back bars coming out the back.
I hope you level out.
And you have a camera.
Man.
That's dope.
And you're opening up opportunities for other companies to make things
right
that would fit that. And it's like
correct.
You're helping the whole industry. It seems like
you can almost put like a level on here too.
Oh yeah,
I mean they probably all have levels in the sides too, but man,
and that's how you tell, Mike. If you don't know, whenever your bow cants, if you look in this sight on the bottom, there's a glass ball level. You see it in the bottom of the sight. It's right there. There's a level. There's a bubble.
Okay, now I see it.
So when I draw this bow back, I've got it set up perfect. So when I go full draw and lock into my anchor point, it's level. This one, when I draw back and lock into my anchor point, I'm canted a little bit. So I offset it with that camera.
Wow.
Yeah.
When's the last time you went actually rifle hunting?
Well, I do a little bit of thermal. When me and my son, we go out and we do thermal.
For hog hunting, right?
Yeah, pigs. But rifle hunting for deer or elk or
no,
it's not fun anymore. Huh?
I can't tell you.
What's the wildest story that you have with a bow?
Man, well, mountain lion. So
what?
Yeah, mountain lion, which is crazy. Y'all know my son shot a mountain lion.
I think did I show you the picture? Yeah.
Right. So my son killed a mountain lion.
Did you kill it here?
It was here. Yeah.
At the Shirley?
Yeah, it was here. So he killed one. It was on somewhere around the beginning of the year. Right around there. He killed one. But back in 2000, man, I think it was 18. 2018. We were elk hunting in Idaho, and I had this bow, and I had my wife next to me, and she was standing on the other side of a logging road, and I'm standing, calling for cow call. I'm doing a cow call, trying to call in a bull, and I had a spruce tree in front of me. I'm trying to hide behind that way in case something come off this trail, right in front of us. So she's over here on this side of the road, and I'm over here on this side behind a spruce tree, and I'm calling, and I hear her. She goes, babe, and I'm kind of like, and then I look, thinking, I don't know, I don't see anything coming, I don't see nothing at all, and I'm looking, and there's a spruce tree kind of blocking my view. And then she's like, babe. And I'm like, what are you doing? Look over her, dude. I mean, she's brown year-round like me, right? I look over her, and I mean, she is freaking Mike White. I ain't joking.
You're kidding me.
No,
She must have been really scared.
really like neon white, right?
Was she buy a Honda Fit?
No, she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't need to buy a Ford. So she's saying, I mean, dude, she's like pale white and shaking. I'm like, what the hell? And then she just does this number like, and I kind of looking around the spruce tree, right? I looked over, and dude standing there about 20, it was actually 23 yards. It was the biggest mountain lion I've ever seen in my life. He's standing, he's sitting on his ass, right? He's sitting there, and he's, I don't know.
How many feet is that for the listeners?
I don't know, 4 feet maybe, sitting
That's
on
tall as John.
Exactly. Yeah. About the roof of a Honda Fit. The reference.
I understand.
I like what he did there.
Yeah.
That was good.
Was it really that tall?
Yeah.
4 foot tall,
Yeah.
sitting
and
down.
I'm telling you, I mean, it was a big Tom, and I mean, his head was, I don't know. I mean, this is a big, Western Mountain Idaho cat.
What the hell?
I mean, this cat was huge, right? And I look over it, and I could see his tail was doing this number.
Just curious.
He's like looking dead at me, right? And I had a tag. I had a tag. I had a deer tag, had an elk tag, had a lion tag, and I was like, dude, you freaking smoked. I drew back, and I leaned past that spruce, and I let it fly. When that arrow came out of my bow, it did this. And I saw it do this when it came out of my bow. Well, it nicked his shoulder.
Oh, no.
And the only thing he did is he went like this, and he looked at me.
Oh, shit.
And then he turned around and went back up the mountain. Just disappeared in the ferns.
Damn.
And I'm like, I don't know if that arrow went. I heard something hit. I was like, I don't know if it zipped through him and he didn't feel it, or I missed him. So I gave it a minute. And me being a Texan, being a varmint critter hunter, I'm like, first thing I started doing was, I'm trying to call him back, which is probably stupid to do that.
Might be stupid.
And here's the kicker. That day, I normally don't. Actually, I never do it. Now I really never do it. I typically always have a Glock on a chest holster right here when I'm hunting in Idaho and Colorado, just because of bear, lions, and wolf now. And man, that day I was like, I'm not carrying these freaking things heavy. And I was carrying a bow and backpacks, and I'm not carrying that thing, right?
Oh shit.
So I didn't have it. Didn't have my pistol on me. I didn't have my knife. It was in my backpack. So all I had was my bow, right?
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So he turned around and went back up, and I'm trying to call him back, like, dumbass, whatever. So that didn't hit him. So it just barely nicked him, and it nicked him enough. There was like 2 or 3 little hairs on the ground, and there was no blood on the arrow, no nothing. I just nicked him. So when I checked, I'm like, what the hell happened? I know my equipment. Well, at that time, I was getting my arrows cut and made at a pro shop. And one of the arrows, that particular arrow, had been cut about 1 inch short.
Oh, shit.
So when we talked about performance, and we talked about all the functionalities and the things that these things do now that you've got to have tuned. You got to have your arrows tuned to your bow, your draw length, your weight, all that stuff. That arrow was cut 1 inch short, so when it came out of my bow going that speed, you can tell if it's 1 inch short, it's going to change your flexibility in your arrow. So it changed the flight pattern. So it came out, it was too light. So it came out doing this number, and it missed my mark, at 23 yards by that much, 6 inches, 5 inches. So didn't get the cat, which sucks, because I would have been, a record book cat with a bow, public land, by myself, non-resident. That would have been, in the books. It would have been in the magazine, whatever. But,
yeah. That's crazy that it snuck up on y'all like that.
Oh, dude. And that's what's crazy is up there is like, man, it's like you can't see. It's thick like rainforest. You can't see nothing in there. It's really, you got to hunt trails. You got to hunt logging roads where you can get access to see things if they come out. That's how I killed a cow last season. But in reference to the craziest story, that was probably it. I was probably going to stick with me, just because when you sit there and kind of pick it apart and think about what could have happened.
Yeah.
If that thing would have decided to come at me, I didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
I would have been like,
are you quick to put another arrow on?
I'm pretty quick. Yeah, but
not fucking mountain lion quick.
Not 23 yards on a Tom mountain lion quick.
Like the fucking.
I'm not Chuck Norris. I don't have a Honda Fit.
Well, I mean, are you pulling these things? I mean, can you like
well,
the movies, dude?
there's a quiver that goes to the
pull on the back, not Peter Pan or whatever. Robin Hood.
You need to do some shit like that.
Yeah,
be a real archer, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Isn't it funny when you don't hit the cat?
I'm no Cameron Haynes.
No. Come on, not with that attitude.
No.
But when you don't hit the target like this cat, this cat became much larger when you actually didn't hit it.
Oh my god!
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's our.
You like that one, did it?
That's our cousin, our uncle.
Which one?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The stories get bigger.
Yeah.
I love it though.
Yeah, fish always gets bigger in that one.
Yeah.
Speaking of fish, the thing that I think's really badass about archery are the people that fish with it. Like there's a really popular video on fucking everything. This guy's on a bridge and he's like, and he like goes and it catches this huge fish. Like it's like
I've seen that.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, wouldn't someone like sitting around like, hey, it'd be cool if we can like fish with these fucking things?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. It is really fun.
Have you done that?
Oh yeah.
Have you got something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've got a fishing bow. I've got a long bow, a recurve bow. Compound bows. Every bow there is. I've got them. All my compound bows are all Matthews. I think when I upgraded my first Matthews was in 2005 when they came out with the Switchback, which is a solo cam. This one has 2 cams, top and bottom. Well, that old one's got a one solo cam. I still have that bow, still shoots perfect, just like the day I bought it. Now what I've done is I've turned that into a instinctive bow, so it has no sights, it has no peep, it has no anything. All it is the bow strings and a Mule Stabilizer, and I shoot it with fingers.
Oh wow,
compound bow with fingers. So.
Is there a preference? Because you have a lot of bows, right? Mm-hmm. So can you tell a difference between the bows that you buy? Or are they all pretty much like they're getting harder to improve upon these days because they're made so freaking well,
It really is. Like Matthews Incorporated, they've had this cross-centric cam. Now I think they came out with it in 2016 when they came out with the Halon. That line, the Halon, the Tri-X and all that stuff, it's been really hard to beat. I mean, you can't really change it. I mean, it's fast, it's smooth, it does everything that you want to do. I know I'm kind of advertising for them, but I shoot their products and I love them. But so there is where I feel the difference is really in the axle to axle and that balance. Yeah. That's why you really can't change. What they've done with these bows nowadays are so fast. They work functionality wise. It's perfect. The risers are completely different. It's basically like parallel versus that bow shape, like they used to, where that name came from, a bow, they're parallel limbs, kind of deal. So that's why, I've just tried to stay with that and make their product better by producing this thing.
That's awesome.
That's cool. I mean, obviously love this stuff. Do you own any like old school bows? Like, do you like the history of bows and like try to collect every type? And like, have you ever thought about going and hunting with something that wasn't a compound bow, like an original design?
Yeah. So I've got a recurve and a long bow.
Okay.
So that's those long, just a stick and string.
Yeah.
Basically, I've got those. I shoot those, every now and then, just for fun in the backyard. So when we talked about 90-pound bows, and we were talking about Cam Haynes' bow 90 pounds. I used to have when you were talking about collector's items or all that stuff. So Matthews makes a bow called a Monster Safari, and it was produced predominantly for African game animals, which are big, thick skin, heavy bone, kind of big critters, And it's most of them sell up in 80, 90-pound limbs, and I had one that was at 90 pounds. For 6 months, and I think I shot it 25 times. And after every draw, it's like, God, it freaking wears you out, man, fast. 90 pound. It wasn't very smooth to draw neither. It wasn't smooth draw, and it was loud. It was heavy, kind of deal. But they're pretty high dollar. They're just the bow itself about $2,000.
Yeah.
Just for the bow.
Jeez.
And they're collector's items now. I mean, people still use them and shoot them, but they're just they're kind of just made particularly for African animals, which I don't know why. I mean, I took this bow, this particular bow right here. I took it to South Africa in 2019. Man, I mean, I had a full pass through on a blue wildebeest. I had a pass through on an impala, pass through on a warthog. I mean, I mean, it just zip right through them. So, and I mean, even my pro hunter, you know, he said, "Sir, you will not pass through on the wildebeest." Sir. Well, we'll find out. You know? I let her fly, aim for a pass-through, because I knew. Now, when we talk about aim for a pass-through, African animals, their vitals in a different place, so they're more forward than they are in animals here, you know, in North America. So they're all up in the chest, like all up in here, you know,
like protected, kind of, right?
Protected. Yeah, that's what that's for. They adapted from lions grabbing. You know, so they built that armor around their vitals from the shoulders and their thick hide in the front from keeping lions from, you know, that they've adapted to that. Well, here in the U.S., when you go shoot some, you shoot them behind the shoulder.
Right.
Well, there you follow up the leg and you shoot them in the shoulder, you know, directly in the shoulders where the heart's at. So it's like a little triangle. It's got no bone, no nothing. It's just, you know, solid muscle. So that's where you got to aim for. Just follow up the front leg. Don't go behind, go in front, you know, and kind of aim there. So that's what I talk about, you know, aim for a pass-through. Know your anatomy, know your animal, know where you're going to shoot. So I shot that wildebeest at 20 yards with this bow and like 68 pounds, and I had a full pass-through.
Oh, wow.
So that was a cool hunt, too. It's on my YouTube channel, Aim for a Pass-Through on YouTube. And
what's the, oh, God, that big redneck guy, what's his name? He's a big-time bow hunter.
There's a lot of those.
Oh, my God. He's a rock star. He was a rock star. Come on, man. He had his own TV show.
Ted Nugent?
Yeah. Doesn't he shoot like 45 pounds or something like that?
Yeah, he doesn't shoot very much at all.
He talks about shooting.
Yeah.
He shot placement's the big thing.
Right.
He's like, everyone's shooting 80, 90 pounds. That's all for show. He's like, you just have a big, how's he talking? You just have a big shot placement.
Yeah. Uncle Ted.
There you go.
They call him Uncle Ted.
Is he well known in the archery community?
Oh yeah,
Really?
yeah. He's big time.
Would he be if he wasn't famous?
I mean, he was like a music, you know, he was an music artist, and you know, he got into hunting, you know, a long time ago. He's been around the industry and had his own hunting shows, and
Really?
I think
He lives in Texas, right?
Yeah, he lives here. Spirit of the Wild was his show. He's wild, crazy guy. Dude, he's freaking awesome. Uncle Ted.
He puts on hunting shows on his ranch, or hunting extravaganzas or whatever at his ranch, and he'll bring people on and teach them how to hunt with him.
Jeez.
So he's just, you know, big time
He
famous dude.
He hunts with a pig man too. You know another pig man.
A pig man. I'm sure there is a pig man.
Yeah, there's pig man. Yeah, you gotta know who he is.
Yeah.
Old Brian. Yeah, he hunts with him too. So yeah, there's a lot of big guys, a lot of guys with a lot of knowledge in the game. A lot of them, you know, where I really get that. What people really understand what this thing does is when they grab the bow and hold it, and they feel that saddle sitting there for them. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's freaking cool.
That's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. Like.
That feels almost as good as sitting in the Honda Fit.
So what's the number one thing for 2022? Is the Mach 5? I mean, we got a lot of shit going on in the world, but
right. So, you know, and especially, you know, lately, and when I say lately, I'm talking about this past week, you know, things have like freaking changed completely. I've had all these ideas and I'm like, man, let's go for it. And then now it's like, God damn, you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do, you know, because here's the other issue, you know, who wants to spend money right now?
yeah,
People are spending money though.
I mean, they're spending money.
I think they're spending money more than when the pandemic wasn't going on, because they have more time. They're working from home. They're just buying shit on Amazon.
Yeah.
I really think if we looked it up, we don't have a computer right now, but I think that people are spending money, and like NFTs, like we were talking about the other, they're just trying to buy some shit right now. I don't
kind of, I guess, bored, and
I mean sad,
that's kind of, you know, my whole, I guess, company goal right now. Make this thing where, like, you know what, I don't need it, but I want it.
I want it.
You know, that kind of deal. So that's what I'm trying to do. You know, and once you have it, it works. I mean, if anything, the main platform of this thing works. I mean, to be able to hold your bow and to set it down, that in itself is a game changer.
Yeah.
It really is. And then now you have, you know, you can change. I mean, these even come in different colors.
Oh wow!
So you can change these colors. I mean, I guess so. See, there's a green one right there.
Dude. And then you can, I see these in a lineup, like on a table, like very neatly lined up on a nice table with different color models, right? And you're doing like a video of like this, how it looks and about different options. And it's just, you can do so much with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's simple too. You can just change, two-tone, two-color type concept. But I'm so excited for you. I'm like, I want to go sell these things.
You want to get into bow hunting?
I want to buy one. I don't even want the bow. I just buy this. Set it on my desk, man. I'll set it on my fucking desk, dude. Oh my God. I mean, it looked good on the desk, dude. Just put it on.
Oh, it would.
I mean, it's a talking piece.
It is. I mean, that'll bring up conversations like you won't believe. And then you'd be one of my salesmen. You'd be like, so what this thing does?
You need to do it for the remote control for the TV. You just screw the remote control here, dude. That's what I'll use.
That's what I'm telling you. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Absorb the shock from me pressing the button. Go right pass through it. Just pass right through.
Oh my God. You're on it, dude. You're on it.
I mean, you could use that for like a, man bun pen.
Yeah. Can you make one a little shorter? I guess like a 1 inch, one hole 1 inch.
Yeah. Well,
for what?
What would that be for?
My hair
1 inch, right? What are you talking about?
What would that be for?
Well, you know what I'm talking about. If you're asking,
is that the ginger measurement?
Whoa.
That's the ginger. Whoa, hey, whoa!
We're getting real now.
We got no gins here.
All right, man. Well, Dan Ram.
Yeah, buddy.
We had fun, man.
We've been trying to do this for a while.
It's been, I'm glad we were able to do it in person. We were going to do it in Zoom, but this kind of stuff, man, it's not. We do Zoom podcasts, but it's hard to bounce off each other like this and read each other's eyes, and it flows better when it's in
like
person.
I said, I mean, it changes people's perspective completely when they grab the bow and that thing sits in their forearm. They're like, oh, okay, I get it.
You get it right away.
I see it. Yeah,
absolutely. So how can people? What's your website? Your Instagram? All that good stuff.
I mean, like I said, it was simple deal. I bought the domain. I own it. Aimforapassthrough. I mean, it's aimforapassthrough.com, Aimforapassthrough at YouTube, Aimforapassthrough at Facebook, Instagram. All of it. So it's pretty simple, and it's something that everybody always said. Aim for a pass-through. I don't know why nobody ever used it, but
that's awesome.
I got it.
Yeah.
And you go to the website if you want to purchase one of these things.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And right now the Mach 4 models, I've got 10 inch in stock, 6 inch in stock, 8 inches out of stock, and those are still available to purchase right now at the price that it still was. This past year. It's probably going to increase, which is unfortunate for consumers, but there's really nothing I can do. I've got to be able to balance out. Being able to produce it. Mass produce it, and as y'all know, building stuff here costs more money.
Yeah.
So, but it's it's all about that. Being proud that it's made here in the USA.
Yep.
So
that's awesome, man. Well, thank you, buddy.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, we'll do it again.
Hopefully, y'all learned something about some archery. And I think this guy's going to go get a bow. And Dodge Ram.
He got a gun now.
Really?
Yeah. He's got an AR.
Yeah.
I was trying to get a pistol first, just ease into it, or get a shotgun, and he's like, I want a fucking AR, dude. He just went all in.
So what caliber?
Huh?
Oh? What caliber?
It's AR-15. It shoots a 5.56.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sound like I know it.
Well, I mean, an AR-15 platform can fit, multi calibers.
What's the brand?
It's M&P Smith & Wesson.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Shoot. He's good.
Yeah, y'all should interview me next.
Yeah, right. Man.
I should know that.
What's the type of scope you got? What's the red dot?
5.
Yeah, dude, he's good.
God damn.
He knows a lot.
Oh, see what happens when you hang out with the Albas?
Yeah, it's fucked up. I'm scared I'm gonna start shrinking, dude. Like, I don't know. I don't mind the brown all year round, but the shrinking I can't do.
Yeah, don't do that.
He's the only thing I got going for me.
He's not. He bought a gun.
That's what a 1 inch gun is.
He's not a vegan anymore.
God damn.
That's none of your doing.
No, that's all my doing. He's eating steak.
Have you had elk steak?
No, he hadn't had elk steak.
You
haven't lived, huh?
You got to have elk steak, and that's where it's at.
You just need to convince. He hasn't had it either, so.
No, I am. You've hooked it up.
Yeah, I think he's had elk steak.
Yeah, barely. He can't handle it. He's about a piece, and he's like, fuck.
Yeah, he
passes out, dude.
Yeah.
Like a little kid body.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we'll do it again. Maybe when you launch the Mach 5 or something, we'll do it again.
We'll get after it. Thanks again for having me, guys.
Yep, it was fun, man.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks.